Welcome back to Voidheart Studios, and before we get on with the video, I'm just going to give a quick little note. This video will be going out on Christmas Day, and in the spirit of that, I do want to wish everybody who watches this video a happy holidays. Whatever holiday you celebrate, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the many different holidays from many different places around the world, religions, cultures, whatever. All of your holidays are wonderful, and I hope you have a great time. Now, let's get on with the video, because this is going to be kind of a fun one. Well, a fun video talking about the white bread of Primaries. Anyways, today I'm going to be doing a possibly unfair comparison on pump action hybrid Primaries, specifically of the Superstock variety. What do I mean by hybrid primary? Well, these Primaries are capable of taking both full and half-length mags through a magwell and adapter system. Do I have a full-length mag over here? I do not, do I? Oh, that sucks. Oh! But yes, these blasters can take full-length magazines. Even with their nature as high-powered pro blasters. So, our first contestant for today is the Dart Zone Nexus Pro. The Nexus Pro was released in 2021 as part of the Adventure Force Tactical Strike series, and it came with the blaster itself, this front muzzle device, the rail-mounted sights, which includes this ladder sight, and not this. It had a different front post, but I am using my Aeon Pro X's front post as a placebo, just so I can have a sight. It came with this buffer tube stock. It came with a 12-round full-length magazine, a 12-round Katana Geometry half-length magazine, a Dart Zone Pro magazine adapter, and a gaggle of darts. So, a quick show of how the magazine adapter works is right now it has a full-length magwell. This is meant for Nerf N-Strike magazines, and we'll take Nerf N-Strike magazines, we'll take Busby N-Strike style magazines, it'll take Dart Zone's full-length magazines, and it will take X-Shot's full-length magazines, despite being made 2 years before the X-Shot Longshot. But if we now put this piece in, it now gives a stable piece, and it is connected to the full-length magwell, but you do not use the full-length mag release. You use this mag release, which has 2 notches. An upper notch for Katana Geometry magazines, and a bottom notch for Talon Geometry magazines. And it has a very interestingly looking magwell, because it's meant to take both Katanas and Talons. And of course, you have to prime it back. It does not have a dog bone pusher. And you insert the magazine like so. And you close the breech. Then you can fire. It is a pump action blaster, fairly standard. The stock has many points of locking, and it's fairly sturdy. This red piece here is a 3D printed sling mount point that I have on it that I did not care to remove because I don't even know where the zip ties are, and I have to secure it with zip ties. So, yes, this will stay on for the rest of the video. Sorry. Not sorry. I'll use my own sling pieces if I want to. You can't tell me what to do. Anyways, an interesting and strange feature that this blaster had is it has a solid inch of nothing in its prime stroke. And then, for the back half of the prime stroke, then you get to the actual spring compression. This is a strange trend that a lot of early Dart Zone high-powered blasters had, and it was fixed with the Dart Zone Pro Mark 1.2, the Dart Zone Pro Mark 4, and then the new wave of blasters in 2024. Yeah, that is the Nexus. Now we move over to the Dart Zone Striker. The Striker was released in 2021 as part of the Dart Zone Max series and was exclusive to Target, whereas the Nexus Pro was exclusive to Walmart. And it came with the blaster itself, this front muzzle device, a set of iron sights, this fake ACOG looking scope. It has no glass in it, it's just literally, it's just a giant piece of plastic with a reticle, if you can see through it on the camera. This stock, which is weird because it puts your cheek at just the right height to see through the scope, but too high to look through the sights. So you will want to put on a different stock if you plan on just using the iron sights. And it came with a 12-round full-length magazine in gray, a 12-round half-length magazine in gray. This is not the magazine it came with. This came from my Dictator. A Dart Zone Pro magazine adapter in gray. This is not the one that I ordered this online. And a gaggle of ruby darts. So yeah, this blaster is the same thing. It's pump action, pretty standard. It also has a wide pusher, so you do have to prime it back before you can mess with the magazines. But, yeah. 'Tis a rather neat little blaster. It also has the same priming slop as the Nexus. Again, that wasn't fixed until about 2022 or 2023. And finally, we have the X-Shot Long Shot. The Long Shot was released in 2023 as part of the X-Shot Pro series, and then re-released in 2024 with a different skin for Christmas, and then re-released twice in 2025 with more different reskins. X-Shot skins, everyone! It's crazy. But this is the 2025 re-release, as I do not own any of the red 2023 models. It came with the blaster, a front muzzle device, these two iron sights, a 15-round X-Shot full-length magazine, a 15-round X-Shot half-length magazine, which is weird. Yeah, this mag is katana geometry with a talon catch. I call them X-Shot half-breeds, because the only thing they fit in is these type of blasters that have a hybrid magwell. And then this translucent magazine adapter, which the new one is, of course, very, very pink. And an interesting thing about this blaster is, well, other than it being bullpup, it also has an extending stock. you get about a ½ an inch, and with that split there, the stock now becomes rather uncomfortable to rest your head on. But it also has a dual mag release. Back here you have the normal mag releases, this one for full length, and this one for half length. But you also have a mag release up here that you strike to drop half-length magazines. It connects to the mag adapter and ejects the half-length magazine, which is very, very interesting, and I often find myself using the one up near the grip more, actually, whenever I use it. But yeah, again, pretty much the same, except it also has slam fire. And it also has a skinny pusher, so you don't have to prime the blaster before inserting a magazine. Well, that's the overview of our contestants. Let's take them out in the range, and I'll show you how they fire. Alright, we are out on the range with my hybrid primaries, and, well, let's do our firing comparison. I'm going to start off with the Nexus Pro and full-length darts. I'm going to be using X-Shot air pocket darts. Let's do this. That was quite the reaction. I was not expecting it to be this inaccurate, but I am running it without any sort of rifling device, just to keep all of them on the same playing field. Yeah, let's do half length. Alright, I've got the adapter installed, and I'm going to be using a Katana mag with Dart Zone Ember darts. Let me start putting my hair up when I go out here. Alright, that was the Nexus Pro. Let's go to the Striker. We got the Striker, once again, X-Shot air pocket darts, and well, my hopes are not exactly high after seeing the Nexus's results with these. But let us... Safety's on. Oh, I hit it! I hit the thing! I hit it again. Alright. Now, we switch to half length. Alright. The adapter's in. Another Katana. More Ember darts. Wabooski. double feed. And she's empty. All right. Now for the long shot. Again, we've got X-Shot air pocket darts. Let's go. I hit the gazebo. That one just curved straight up. I'm not even kidding. What the hell? Alright. Results were, well, about the same as the Nexus. This is very much a bullpup Nexus, but without the prime slop. Anyways, now I will go get the adapter. Adapter, Ember darts. You know the drill. I just launched my front sight. I want to be able to use my sights. Thank you very much. These sights are not great. If you're gonna use this blaster, get either better sights or an optic. Far out. Okay, we're already filming. Alright. Well, that was fairly consistent, accuracy-wise. Range-wise was a little, but that is for an internal reason. And the plunger tube is doing just dandy. Okay, well, that is it for the firing demo. I'm gonna go clean up the darts and see if I can recover half of those full-length darts. And then I shall take these cretins inside and we will do our conclusion. Alright, we are back inside with our lovely contestants. Let us commence the conclusion. Starting off with the pros and cons, we have the Nexus. The Nexus is overall just kind of your standard pump action springer, you know, vertical foregrip, all that. People have been doing this with retaliators and prophecies and all that forever, so yeah, whatever. But the pros are, of course, it has a dart zone style friction muzzle, which does allow it to use the, well, they were released after its time, but the dart zone B-car and P-car. And if you plan on using full-length darts with it, it's going to need it. Seriously. Far out. Underneath this vertical foregrip, it has a little bit of Picatinny rail, so you can put your own foregrip onto it. And with its hybrid magazine well, it is compatible with both katanas and talons, as well as the X-Shot half-breed magazines. Now, we move on to the cons. My cons with this blaster are What is this? Seriously. It's so weird and kind of annoying. It's just jank. My other con is, of course, it does not have a skinny pusher. Of course, they hadn't thought of skinny pushers at the time, so it's really more of a product of its time than anything. And the offset rails. I don't know why they did that. Because, you know, you have to tilt it up a little bit to really, like, see what's on your rail here. And, I mean, there's a reason why one of the first mods for this thing was a 3D printed rail shroud that just lines the rails up with each other. It's just weird looking and strange. But, yeah. That's it for the Nexus. For the Striker. The pros for the Striker are, of course, it also has a dart zone friction muzzle. So it will take dart zone, B-car, P-car, whatever. The next pro, of course, obviously, the magwell compatibility, same as the Nexus. And that's about where the pros end. But it only has a couple of cons. The cons are, you cannot change this foregrip easily. You have to get a purpose-built foregrip that exists for it because it does not have Picatinny on it. It uses, essentially, I think it uses a similar linkage to what the Nerf Alpha Trooper does, if I recall correctly. But now I could just also be talking out of my ass here, so whatever. It's very similar to an Alpha Trooper. It's really like you take the Nexus and the Striker, and it's like the Retaliator compared to the Alpha Trooper. And the other con is the stock. This stock makes it to where you cannot see through the Striker's iron sights, which, not a good thing. Yeah. So, yeah. That's the Striker. And for the long shot, the first pro is it's compact. With it being bullpup, it's actually the smallest of the three. And it's rather comfy to use as well. And as a pro, it does not have the prime jank. Yeah. It also has a dart zone style friction muzzle, which allows you to put your dart zone P-car, B-car, whatever. And also all of these blasters will take the piston pumps B-car. The second pro is, it's just comfy. Honestly, it's just a really comfy blaster. I always really like holding this thing because it just feels really comfy in the hands. The third pro, of course, underneath the foregrip is also some Picatinny rails, so you can attach whatever foregrip you so desire to this blaster. Now we start with the cons. Firstly, this plastic is crap. X-Shot, as much as I hate to say this, the main reason why everybody was scared of what might happen with the piston pump is because X-Shot has been notorious for making blasters out of rather brittle plastic, and the long shot is no stranger to that. It feels very, very cheap, And of course, with an original retail price of $30 compared to $50 for the others, you can kind of understand that, but still. Secondly, the sights just don't stay on the rails. The other ones can have that issue sometimes, but generally the sights will stay on the rails unless you screw with them too much. These ones, I mean, you saw in the firing demo, I just flicked the blaster and the front sight flew off. So, yeah. The sights. And the final con is what was the purpose for this? It is an inch, maybe an inch and a half of extended stock. But if you choose to use this extended stock, your cheek is going to have to press against sharp-edged plastic because they didn't make this thing flat. So, yeah. Alright. I am now going to give FPS ratings. So, the Nexus achieved an average velocity of 142 FPS on full-length darts and 156 FPS on half-length darts. The Striker achieved an average velocity of 144 on full-length darts and about 161 on half-length darts. And the Long Shot achieved an average velocity of 136 on full-length darts and 153 on half-length darts. So, yeah. The Long Shot is overall the weakest in terms of power, but it also has the worst barrel. They don't have good barrels, from what I've heard. Be a good idea to replace it. But, yeah. None of them have good barrels, from what I've heard. I think they're all .527, so you may want to find a barrel that can fit and replace them. So, overall, what's my verdict? Meh. I can't really pick out a clear overall objective winner. They're very similar. The Striker edges out in FPS, but it's by a completely insignificant margin. 10 FPS for half-length darts is nothing. It's maybe going to give you an extra foot of range. Maybe. So, it's not really going to come down to FPS. Price? Currently the Striker and Nexus are discontinued, but you can find them relatively easily on eBay, and I think the prices on them are still decent last time I looked. But the Long Shot can still be found in stores, and it is $40 now. It started out as $30, and then due to tariffs, just gonna say, it moved up to $40, and that is in US dollars. You can translate those to other prices. But the other two, when they were initially released, they were $50, and so the Long Shot was a nice budget option at the time. And if I had to pick one of these for my personal preference, I would honestly pick the Nexus Pro. Because out of the box, I say it's just, it's kind of John Pump Action Springer because it's essentially like a Retaliator. But that it works. Granted, I haven't seen any problems with the priming mechanisms on the other one or anything like that, but it works. It doesn't have any issues with the stock. It doesn't have any issues with the sights. It doesn't have really much any issues with anything that I have. aside from, you know, the Prime Slop and, you know, the out-of-date pusher and all that. But that's just a product of its time. Again, those two, the Nexus and Striker, were released in 2021. That's a whole 4 years ago now. Yeah. 4 years ago. Ouch. But anyways, yeah. My personal pick is the Nexus Pro. Again, like most of these possibly unfair comparisons, I don't really see any objective winner. But these comparisons are also meant for you guys to gauge which of these blasters you want to purchase. If you know, have a war in your area that, you know, has a cap of 160, 170 FPS, or even 150 FPS as a soft cap, you know, you might want to look at these and be like, okay, well, you know, the Nexus and the long shot fit under cap, the Striker goes a little over, you know, and then decide from there. So, yeah, I think I've yapped plenty, more than plenty. I always go into these videos afraid I'll yap you guys to death. But, my channel hasn't completely died yet, so I'm assuming there are quite a few of you who still enjoy the yap. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give a like and subscribe. Comment your personal pick between these three blasters. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a happy holidays, and goodbye!